And what is this scrub typhus? So this is a mite-borne acute febrile infectious illness. The bug, the infective organism is Orienta shushugamushi, which is a gram-negative obligate intracellular coccobacillus. Okay, and there are 3 strains of Orienta shushugamushi, that is Scar, Gilliam and Cato. And how is this maintained? It is maintained by transovarial transmission in the trombiculid mites, so which are acting both as vectors and the reservoir of the disease. Okay, so the trombiculid mites, and that is a vector, and the organism is Orienta shushugamushi, which is a gram-negative intracellular coccobacillus. The larval mites, they are also called as the chiggers. So the chiggers are actually the parasite. They are the parasites which inoculate the organism into the skin. The infected chiggers are particularly found in heavy shrub vegetation, usually during rainy season. But you need not have heavy vegetations actually. Even a few square meters of vegetation is far more enough if there is infected chiggers, and if man usually is an accidental host. When you invade these chigger infested vegetation areas, when the chigger bites, that can result in the entry of organism into the skin and can cause infection. So humans are usually accidental host, and there is no human to human transmission in this infection. So this is a cycle. So this is a adult trombiculid mites. Okay, so the infection is maintained within the trombiculid mite by transovarial transmission. The organism we saw is Orienta shushugamushi. Okay, so the larval form, so these are the chiggers. The larval form are also called as a chiggers, and they have a parasitic habitat. Okay, they usually feed on the smaller mammals like rats and ground feeding birds. And man, when he invades these chigger infested mite islands, he get accidentally infected. Okay, whereas the nymph and the adult forms are free living forms. They are not parasitic. It is only the larval form or the chiggers which are parasitic in nature, and they only act as a vectors to transmit the organism to the humans. So as I said before, how do humans get infected? So usually the at-risk population are farmers, people who are working in orchards, scrub areas, and people who are visiting the mite islands. But now it is not just restricted here alone. So even few square meters of vegetation which has infected chiggers is enough. So even in apartment, even in cities, we do see a lot of scrub typhus cases. And coming to the pathogenesis of scrub typhus. So once a chigger bites, the organism enters into the skin. The organism is Orienta shushugamushi, which multiplies at the inoculation site. So at the bite site of chigger, they can develop papule which can ulcerate, and it can necrose to form eschar, and there can be a regional lymphadenopathy. But remember, eschars are seen only in around 50% of the cases. Okay, if there is eschar, there is nothing more good than to diagnose scrub typhus. But then, unfortunately or fortunately, it is seen only in 50% of the patients. Okay, and once the organism multiplies at the inoculation site, these organisms, they invade the endothelial cells, resulting in vasculitis. That is, there is perivascular infiltration of the T lymphocytes, monocytes and macrophages, which causes vasculitis. Ultimately, because of this vasculitis, what happens? You have invasion of all your T lymphocytes, monocytes, macrophages. The main action of these helper cells are to have an antimicrobial action. But actually what happens is, because of this heavy inflammatory response, there's a lot of pro-inflammatory cytokines which are released, which not only have an antimicrobial action, it also cause host tissue destruction, resulting in hepatitis, renal failure, meningoencephalitis, ARDS, myocarditis, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the pathogenesis of scrub typhus. So once the organism enters the inoculation site, at the site you can have development of papule, ulcer, necrosis and eschar, which we will deal in detail in little while. And the organism can multiply into the endothelial cells, causing vasculitis. Host immune response get activated, which not only causes antimicrobial action, it also causes host tissue destruction because of the profound inflammatory cytokines that are released.